And I'm live. We will wait until about probably 2:40, just hang out for a bit before actually diving into the deep part of the stream, where I'm going to be doing all of the polls on Twitch. So if you're on YouTube, you won't be able to participate in the polls. Also, how... Yeah. Yeah. Pretty sure that's everything I needed to set up. This music might be a bit too epic in nature. Yeah, what we fight for. I want something chill. Why is all my music super going forward? Let me find something. Yeah, this works. How's it going, everyone? Double check how many people are actually on the stream. No viewers yet. Let's be funny about this. Funny how? I'm waiting for everyone to trickle in, so I'm not going to really start this stuff until... You want... Fuck. I wanted to be professional. I haven't been here in so goddamn long. Damn it. How about this? Just open the front. Is that fine? Is that good enough? Yeah, I don't want to do that today. I haven't been live in so long. Okay, well now I have to figure out how to refund your points. No, I'm keeping them. And I still say no. Kidding. Viewer rewards. Channel points. Rewards. How? I don't know how to... Oh, can you redeem them or return them to yourself? On God. Hi. Hi, Joseph. So, the way this is going to work, in case I haven't walked this through with anyone yet, is I'm going to do Twitch polls for whether or not a battalion should be an expansion battalion or just a community battalion, and we'll go through each one by one. Vote all into expansions? No. Recommend not doing that. I'm still holding veto power either way, but I don't think I'm going to flex it that much. There's a few that I'm pretty much guaranteeing in. Yes, I'm holding veto power either way. So if if I'm going to just put it into expansions anyway, I'll let you guys know, like, hey, this is one, boom, it's going in. And then same vice versa, I'll let you, I'll say no to some, just on issue. And I think I only have a couple in mind either way that I might say yes or no to. And we're going to go through them as they are set up today. The only reason things would be said no to is if they're like really bad for coding implementation or don't work well in party mode at all or just unbalanceable, that type of thing. No taxation without representation. You're getting a vote. I'm just executive and I have veto power. Listen, I have the Florida flag in the background. I have to represent, you know? What is going on? We are just hanging out right now, and pretty soon we're going to start voting. Liam won't even be mad at me. I bought him pizza today. Speaking of which, that'll probably be here in like 10 minutes. I can order 60 squats right now if I wanted to. Guys, I want to focus on the stream. Please don't mess with me too much. Please. I'm begging. I already did a ton of squats yesterday. Yesterday was leg day, so don't murder me. I did like 40 with, how much weight was that? 90, 180, plus another 50. It was 200 and something pounds. I'm going to gym every day now. Keep the stream on topic or I veto your battalion. Maybe. True already did that and sent it back to himself. I don't know why I made it so cheap. Can you guys disable that option? Please. Why is that an option? Because I was streaming very often. Let's see if I could figure out how to do a poll. How do I do a poll? How do I do a poll? I don't understand how to use Twitch. Let me see if I can find it. I think it's down here at the bottom of this one, but for some reason it's not letting me scroll. Oh, quick actions. There it is. Edit stream info, clip that, raid channel. Found it. Wait. Yeah. Manage poll. Create new poll. Is chess lame? Yes. No. Actually. Cool. Let's see if that works. What does actually mean? I'm not explaining that right now. In this context, it's just the start of some long nerd rant. Do I still have water in this? No, I don't. Dang it. How's everyone's day been? Ooh, it's a tie. I'll be the tiebreaker. Who voted yes? Probably somebody who likes TB more, you know? Or a Shogi player. Will I still see ads if I'm in mod view? I don't think so. Also, thank you, whoever is still subscribed to me. It turns out that that's cumulative, so they still pay you when you get over threshold, even if it's been months. So, I am actually getting paid for these 2 subs I have. I was late to the poll. Rip. Don't worry, the next ones will be longer than a minute. I was just testing. In this context, it indicates that you still want to speak, rather than just answering yes or no. And you want to do it in a pompous and very nerdy way. Do we think anyone else is going to stop by, or is it just going to be the 5 of us here? I mean, I'm fine with just these, but with an even number of viewers, there's going to be a lot of ties. And it also puts, since it's such a small amount, it puts a lot of power into the hands of a small group of people. Don't have law of large numbers to go with us. Okay. You can add everyone. I already did. I'm not going to ping multiple times for the same stream. And I'm also doing the poll on Twitch, so it's an thing. I'm doing it on Twitch, so it's anonymous. I forgot the word for a sec. Sad not to see Potap? Me too. Do you have people on YouTube? Not right now. Or if I do, they're not talking. Maybe Lily will stop by? Maybe. Get to vote on things. We are going to read every single battalion creation event battalion today. Starting with this one in about 5 minutes. Speaking of which, I'm going to use this to kind of walk through everything. Yeah. All right. I think we're just about ready to start. I have become twin. Welcome. Ooh, 7 viewers. Hi, guys. Well, let's get this show rolling. So, the first battalion creation event battalion we're going to review today is the fencing battalion. This was Made by Liam. And apparently it's based off of a game called Kyorador? A game of achieving campmate using a modified Wazir while using walls to stop the opponent from doing the same. Oh, it's the chasing the mouse game. Corridor, but spelled funny. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. All pieces go to the hand of the player they belong to, save for the Titan. This is a drop battalion, but you can only place within your territory for the first 3 turns. That... Oh, wow. That's a massive line of text. Because, effectively, every piece in hand means that you have a certain number of turns to be able to get everything in. Yeah, Corridor... I've seen the game. I think he was deliberately trying to clear the board so that... Bring it in, sir. We're going over your battalion.
Huh?
We're going over your battalion. Go on, bring the pizza in.
What?
We're going over fencing. Open the door.
Come in.
Come on, come in.
Huh?
Come on in.
Wiener dicks.
Which one is...
The pizza.
Well, one of them's yours.
I know.
That one.
Go play your room. Also, your basket's right here.
This one's
Thank you.
goofy as hell.
Okay, so first problem with this. All pieces going to the hand... Alright.
Butthole. You did that just because I'm in here.
Did what?
First problem with this.
We need to clean this room before Aaron eats our food. Come on.
Bye, Liam.
I think it's a great idea.
Thank you. It's... Every piece going to the hand means that you can only place one a turn, which means that eventually there will be enough on the board that the enemy king is in danger, but not enough on the board to properly defend, and you don't have time to play the turns because you're suddenly under attack.
You place them in
the territory for the first 3 turns, right? But that will still end up with, say, you only get 5 to 10, maybe 5 to 8 pieces onto the board before you're already fighting with your opponent.
I think that adds strategic value.
It would if we had the same pieces. It would be a different game, but it would work. But because we have different pieces, like one player's going to drop a chess queen and the other a keshig, and one instantly puts the enemy in check, so they have to move again, but the keshig doesn't because it's short range, right?
Yeah, just put the keshig in the way. It's an even trick.
Yes, there's...
But you could also put a pawn in the way.
It ends up not balanced because we've balanced around all the pieces starting on the board. So one army will always have the advantage, and it's just a question of which. So it doesn't work for 1v1. I will say this might be fine for party mode, though.
You gotta try.
Just that part. Well, I'll talk
Also,
to you about it
time
later.
is it's partially made for party mode. I made like a little algorithm for how many how many fences there are based on the size of the board. But it's I did that just because I was like,
All
oh,
players
that'd
at the
be cool.
start of their game place a traversing titan on their back rank in a position of their choosing. There's an additional turn... Oh, so they have their normal king and the traversing titan. If the traversing titan reaches the opponent's back rank, the owner of that titan wins. If the traversing titan is captured, its owner loses. So it gives both players the alternate loss condition. Man, there's just too much going on here. There's only one Paul and one Smith Johnson. Each player with this battalion, after the one who has a Paul, must come up with a name and backstory for their landscaper and police officer. Jeez. Very, very loaded. I think based off of special rules alone, I'm going to end up having to veto this. But only for now. Like, there might be a way to make this work. I would rather this be its own game where 2 players of this army are facing off for each other on the board. And that's another thing. It's called Fencing Battalion, but I know from later that that's because of the fences, not because of some kind of sword jousting match. Okay. Fencers are 2 square-long pieces that are placeable orthogonally between the squares on the board. They cannot move, cannot capture, cannot be captured. Any piece not specified may move through them. Okay, so they only block things that are specified. Each player gets 10 fences in hand at start of game. 1 more than the length of the board's longest side in party mode. Okay. That is a bit funny, though. It is funny. Fences can be used to facilitate the player's progress or to impede that of the opponent. However, all access to all back ranks must be left open. So, one of the reasons I'm not sure this works is if you just have a rook in the middle of the board, it cuts off the entire row versus a fence blocking just a little bit, right? So this is significantly harder to get the other Titan to the other side. I guess this also means that you have a normal king, and then that king follows the Spartan rules, but the Traversing Titan has a loss condition if it's captured. So effectively you just have a king mover in hand? Because if it dies, it doesn't matter, and you don't have to worry about check other than... You wouldn't even be able to castle because you drop it. Huh. Interesting. Traversing Titan moves 1 square orthogonally, except in case of facing an opposing Traversing Titan. In that case, it may move diagonally to a square adjacent to both of them. Oh. It cannot move through walls. Titans may not take each other. Anything taken by a Traversing Titan goes to this piece's owner's hand. The cat may move along connected fences to reach a square on either side of them. Cats move and capture in this manner. They cannot take Traversing Titans. Dogs move orthogonally along the sides of connected fences and must stay adjacent to the fences and cannot cross over them. This piece moves and captures in this manner. So the cat and dog, effectively, the cat is a jumping piece and the dog is not, because a dog, since the cat moves along fences, if it ignores intervening pieces, but the dog, okay, sure. Paul is the landscaper. Okay, so landscaper is the real piece name. Fences belong to him. He's an average Joe who works for some reason. He cannot capture, cannot be captured, moves like a king, and places any piece he moves into the space of into the hand of its owner. He does not block Traversing Titans. In fact, they move over him to the square opposite him. Oh. I assume the Traversing Titan also has Spartan rule? No. It specifically says every player gets a Traversing Titan, and that if you lose a Traversing Titan, you lose. But I'll say. But additional Titans follow the Spartan rule by default, unless said otherwise. So, your other Titan follows Spartan rule, and this Titan says if it dies, you lose. So it doesn't matter unless dupla check happens. Like, dupla check is the only downside. What if the board is a Mobius strip? Answer that, Liam. Then it's edge of strip to edge of strip. Because it's not side to side, it's forward to back, and there's always a back and a front to the board. But, shh, 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 shh. Territories have backs. Shh. Rooks. So, he's being sassy. Rooks and bishops, 2 each. Police Officer Smith Johnson may take 1 piece in a queen or shogi horse line without moving once. So it's a bishop to 1 that has a one-time free kill? That's pretty wild. That's a good piece. Traversing guard moves like a king when a traversing titan moves in a direction. If that direction is not blocked by traversing guards of the same color, they all move 1 in the same direction. Here's the funny thing. This would work for 1v1 if it wasn't for the all pieces in hand and giving the opponent like if you gave the opponent a traversing titan in addition to the normal stuff as the only piece in hand. And say if either dies, you lose. So you still die the normal way, and if the traversing titan dies, you lose. So you would have to protect both, and it's just an option for the opponent. Yeah, it doesn't in the current form, but it's really close. Territory 2x9 attaching on the long side, and then there's no territory layout diagram. Oh, because everything starts in hand. Everything? So even the titans? What if you just never drop a titan? Wait, did I miss something? At the start of the game, place a traversing titan on their back rank. Oh, so that's why it doesn't have a diagram. Okay. No titans start, but start of game... Yeah. And then every player has an additional turn to either place a fence or move the titan. So you can block and move the titan. So the king safety isn't that bad. Oh, this might work. What the fuck? Why does it feel like this might work? It's playable in 1v1. I'll say that. It's not party mode compatible, and it's probably not balanced. I'm not vetoing this. I'm going to leave this up to you guys. Does this army deserve to be an expansion battalion? And we'll make it a 3-minute poll. I would love to see this in party mode. Oh dear. Everyone only gets 1 vote. Democracy? I mean, a vote's a vote, people. I mean, if this gets accepted, like, what's stopping the rest of them, right? No, I'm just gonna stream this, Joseph. I'm gonna, like, walk through it and read it and talk about it and chat with everybody. That way it doesn't feel like anyone gets left out. So this song is called Heavy Fast Classical. So it's a edit of a bunch of intense classical music. When the Titans are Wazirs and there's not 4 winds. So the Titans are Wazirs, but you get a normal turn and a move. So you could drop and move that Titan. So you actually have better king safety than normal Shogi. Oh, it's a split. Oh, so it is up to me. I'll be tiebreaker then. You know, it seems like corridor would be pretty easy to solve. Fuck. I still have to decide. Okay. 10 fences. It needs a multiplayer ruling for that, but that's doable. The one thing that speaks minus to this is the fact that it's not been play tested. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to say no for now until this gets better testing. This needs testing to be an expansion battalion. Okay. That convinced me. So that's a no for this one. So we're going to copy this link and go ahead and throw it into the Community Battalions tab and pin it. Needs testing. Okay. Next battalion. We are actually doing Wind Song next. Okay. Okay. So it starts with 6 pawn-like pieces, cues, and then a normal-ish type of layout. So L's in the knight position, H is in the rook position. Let's see. This is your Titan. F is a flute. Rubato rushing and rubato dragging are the R and D. L is a lyre, H is a horn, Q is a quaver, T is a taiko, and unshown in the starting territory is a quartet. So the Windsong Titan is a tambourine, is a normal Titan. Okay. The flute moves up to 1 space orthogonally or diagonally at O. Enchanting Melody. If an opponent's piece is adjacent to the flute at the end of the Windsong player's turn, that piece cannot move or capture on the opponent's next turn. If there are multiple pieces adjacent, the Windsong player chooses one to target. They may target a different piece each turn. Oh, this is... Yes, you can vote for your own things. I think if you want an honest opinion on it, you shouldn't, but that is up to you. Everyone... You can vote for yourself for the presidency, you know? You should add that it doesn't give check. I mean, it doesn't capture either. The Windsong player chooses one to target. They may charge a different piece each turn. Does not affect Titan's immutable pieces. Potential change: the flute cannot target same piece more than 2 turns in a row. So this is... I would prefer if it could still move and couldn't capture, and it was just an aura. So this is the classic Peacekeeper. What's it called? Ambassador? No. Negotiator? Well, I mean, it is the immobilizer from Ultima, but I'm saying that the piece that has like a neutrality aura and can't be captured, can't capture, and moves like a king. Very classic chess piece. It's been around a very, very long time, even in some of the older Indian variants. No, from like old variants. I forget what the best translation of it is. Diplomat in favor chess. Yeah. This one freezes them, so it's more the immobilizer type deal. I think this is kind of fine. Effectively, the one piece it chooses every turn is captured while it's there. But this can be captured. Right? Yeah, so you can get rid of it and get your piece back. So it's a temporary thing. Yeah, this is fine. Rubato. Rubato have 2 stances, rushing and dragging. The player starts with 1 Rubato in rushing, 1 in dragging. After Rubato moves, it and all ally Rubato change stance. So rook and then bishop to 2 plus king. Both of those are often worth about 5. The bishop to 2 is the weaker objectively, but is better at mating on its own. And that swap is going to be pretty important. Yeah, that's interesting. It works. The liar jumps and captures there, moves it. Oh, okay. So that's an Alibaba, and it starts here. So we have... Oh, I see. Each one targets an entire column. And they target different columns. So it's very similar to the bishops in chess. They don't interact with each other, but together they cover everything. Okay, I'll buy that. This is a good designed piece. Quaver moves and captures... Oh wait, horns. Must move at a space marked 1, 2, or 3. May stop at any point in the path, but must follow number order. So 1, 2, 3. It's just a Keshig that follows a path and can't jump. It's a good piece, but it is weaker than the Keshig. It's also notable that it can't move diagonally directly. It must move orthogonal first. So, yes, I'm walking through it. Quaver and... Oh, these are at the corner. The Winsong player make 2 non-capturing Quaver moves. This may be with the same Quaver or different Quavers, and there's 1 on each side. Promotes to a quartet on the enemy's back rank. And then it moves orthogonally, moves and captures diagonally. Oh, so it's a king mover that captures diagonally, and that's the promotion of the Quaver. Tycho also promotes to a quartet, and it's a Berolina pawn with a single backward step. Okay. Well, it's been changed a little bit since we playtested it. Like, the pawn line has changed. As well as the flute, I think may have been messed with. In any case, I have 0 problems with this army. I think it's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and vote on it. Does this become an expansion battalion? Alright. Poll started, guys. 4-0 so far. I don't think with the people actually voting that it's possible for this not to make it into expansions. Oh, do I have pizza on my face? Please tell me no. No, I'm good. Oh, that should be enough for now. I just needed something to tide me over now that we're started. Okay. I think this one's making it in almost no matter what happens now. Still 4-0. True, how dare you? Insult me for something I cannot change? What is this? Kindergarten? I still have a nice face, too. You're just lying. Yeah, that's it. Windsong is now an expansion battalion. Nice. Okay. What's next? Will and Whisper is next. If you're gonna leave True, you can go ahead and give me an approved deny list for all of your stuff. Just DM me anything that you want your vote to be counted towards. On Discord. Alright. The first thing about Will and Whisper, it moves like a knight and captures like a king for the Titan. So that is technically a good and fair Titan, and it is one of the untested ones. So unique Titan. Nice. Will-O-Wisp, immutable, doesn't intervene in piece movement. At the end of each turn, if there's an ally piece sharing a space with this one, this piece captures itself. Whenever an ally piece sharing a space with this one, that ally can capture again if possible. Afterwards, whether or not the capture was made, this piece captures itself. Whether or not... Okay, so that's just a edge case ruling, hedging your bets. You cannot place a Will-O-Wisp while you control more of them than you do Whispers. Okay, yeah, that tracks. And then the Whisper is the exact same thing, but instead of capture, move again, it's move again, right? At the end of each turn, if there's an opposing piece sharing a space with this one, it captures itself. Oh, so the Whisper can share a space with yours? And it's fine? I guess, yeah. So you can just have it sharing spaces with your pieces. And then if you don't use it, it may make another movement if possible. Afterwards, whether or not that movement was made, this piece captures itself. Oh, no, never mind. So you could place it inside of the space with your piece. But if you move to it, whether or not you move, it dies. Interesting. Okay. Still workable. Also notable that wills and whispers can't be placed on top of each other, which isn't said. Yeah, that's right. It isn't. It's not intended, but I haven't fixed it. Is it intended for you to be able to have both in the same space? Okay. And then this piece, this piece, it moves like a Great Pyramid Sphinx and captures like a Frost Beast Leviathan, which is super unhelpful for a new player. But the way it moves is orthogonal and then diagonal out. And the way it captures is diagonal and then orthogonal out. So this is its capture movement. And then this is its movement, which is super misleading to have this as an overlap. Like, this is one of those cases where you should have two movement diagrams rather than one overlapping diagram. And the reason for that is it can't move to this square unless it moves here first, and it can't capture to that square unless it passes through this square. Right? True, don't rely on that. Yeah, Energetic Master is interesting. Oh, did it censor my link? I'm the streamer. I should be able to post a YouTube link to the music. I can post it in random. Hold on, guys. Yeah, I'm posting it in the Discord real quick. Here y'all go. No, the one I sent? Oh. Yeah, it's gone. Alright, so the eager student, it moves a knight square forward and captures backwards. And when it moves to this square, at the end of your turn, it can capture backwards a square. It also can just move backwards a square. So what that means is at the end of each turn you check to see if an enemy piece is behind it, and then if so, it kills, but you can only do that once per turn. So what that effectively means is this guy can move here, and if there's something here after that, it captures. Because the opponent shouldn't just move behind it unless they're not paying attention. Or, well, they could cause a check that way. They move a piece behind it where there's a bishop pinning this, and the capture's forced. Or is it not forced? May capture vertically one square backwards. Oh, okay, I see. So you pin in order to stop that from happening. Okay. Yeah, that tracks. Okay. And then on the battlefield, it can move non-capturing sideways, which matters because it also expands its capture squares. So this has a pretty strong battlefield movement because of that. Because that means it also captures backwards. Yeah, it captures on all four diagonals. And the one behind it. So like a reverse silver general. That's cool. Practice combatant moves as the knight, captures up to 2 diagonally. Explosive warrior is a Shang-Chi cannon, but it only captures up to 4 squares away. Peaceful Teacher is a rook to exactly 2, non-jumping. And then here's the territory. So a bunch of the interesting pawn. 2 of the teachers. 2 of the warriors. 1 energetic master. And then 2 of the practice combatant. So minor piece, minor piece, minor piece, a little bit weaker than minors. And then you're using the will-o-wisps and the whispers in order to give these pieces double moves. But you're always investing 1 turn to place it and then spending the turns later when you move into their space. Interesting. I'm not sure, because you always need a slower position in order to use the will-o-wisps and the whispers. I think it's a bit weak. I definitely don't think it's an issue. And it's going to create interesting tactics. I like this one. Let's go ahead and vote on it. So, will and whisper to expansions. Yes or no. Let's reduce the time down to 2 minutes. No, still 3 is right. As much as I don't like it. Invalidating defense. Because you can't take a piece in the middle of them using a will. I don't think it invalidates defenses. I think it spends a turn to force you off of that square, but it's kind of down materially otherwise. So yeah, feature not a bug, in my opinion. Is it maybe too strong? Maybe, but that's a balance question, not a mechanic question. There's no way to gain that square back? True. True. But you can start attacking. Did the poll start? Yeah. In fact, there's only 1 vote. Who doesn't see the poll right now? Because there's only 1 vote in it, and it's halfway over. I can redo it. Spike sees it. Alright, I'm going to end and restart the poll and see if that helps. I just deleted it. Sorry. That probably interfered with your troubleshooting. All right, new poll. I don't know what those words mean. Oh, it's enjoy your meal. I see. I see. Mods still see ads in mod view, which I think is an absolutely terrible decision. That's fair. Poll's about halfway done. I think True is gone for now. Yeah, if you sub to my channel, I'm kidding. Can't have the streamer just modding everyone? Oh. Breath tax? Oof. What does that mean? Breath tax. Chat, what does that mean? Well, if it's just you guys here, I don't think anything else is going to win. Oh, that's right. I can bring the poll results here. How's that look? Nice. Well, does it win? Well, Will and Whisper is now an expansion battalion. Congratulations, True. I get the feeling most of these are going to pass. And then we're just going to have a crap ton of expansions. All right. Let's go to the next one. The next one is Devilish Dealings, another True Titan battalion. Alright, so Devilish Dealings has a Summoner Titan. Can move and capture to adjacent spaces here. You start with one each of the Archdemon, Wrathlord, and Montara in your hand. Okay. It has imps, which move diagonally and capture diagonally forward, which is a classic pawn line. We use them in Great Pyramid. They're a good one. Streamers can gift subs to their viewers. It just costs money. In fact, I do it all the time. Archdemon can move and capture any number of squares away orthogonally or diagonally, providing there are no intervening pieces. Can capture at the far edge of a 3x2 rectangle. Oh, not move and capture, just capture? Interesting. You may not place or move a piece, including this one, such that any allied piece within a 5x5 area centered on this piece. So you have to place it not within this area. Or of another piece. Another piece cannot be within this area. After you place from your hand, 3 allied pieces capture themselves. You choose. You only place this from the hand in the portion of the board the Summoner Titan with the Summoner Titan in it. Each territory and battlefield are different portions of the board. Okay. The Wrathlord is Knight plus Giraffe. It costs 2 pieces to summon, effectively. And again, same region as the Summoner Titan. Montara can move and capture vertically or diagonally adjacent spaces. So this is, I think, often referred to. I think I only know this piece from the South. I know this piece from some Shogi variant, and as well as from one of Tomato's variants. Anyways, can move and capture up to 3 times a turn. Cannot act further if it captures. Cannot act such that it enters the same space relative to its original position before the action twice in the same turn. Okay, so it has to move away. After this piece is used in a turn, your opponent's next turn, one of their pieces they choose may use the movement and capturing abilities of the Mantara instead. Okay. So it gives all pieces Mantara once. Ferocious Leopard? That's the thing. Leopard. Thank you. After you play this from your hand, 3 capture themselves. You only place this in the portion of the board with Summoner Titan. Okay, so these are the demon pieces that you summon by sacrificing your stuff. Acolyte can move up to 2 squares orthogonally or diagonally. If a piece is played from your hand adjacent to this piece, you may capture up to 1 enemy piece at the far end of a 3x2 rectangle from this piece instead of an allied piece. Initiate moves diagonally 2 squares, captures orthogonally 2 squares, and you start with 2 acolytes, 4 initiates, and 7 imps. That's not a lot. That is fewer pieces than chess, and they're all weak. So you have to be able to use the Mantara and the Archdemon and the Wrathlord well. From experience, I know Archdemon summoning is more of a promotion type deal, like a chess promotion almost, but for getting your king into the battlefield. There may be some way to clear out your territory, but it still would be about as difficult. So you're not really going to see the Archdemon most games, which is the Amazon almost. It doesn't move like a knight. It only captures like 1. Yeah. I think it's a bit weak, honestly. The usable downside for the Mantara is still a big deal when you move it, but it means that you can move it. Oh, it's meant to be a full Amazon? We'll treat it as such. In any case, let's go ahead and vote on this one, guys. I don't think there's a lot more I need to say on this one. Other than sacrificing your pieces to summon new pieces creates interesting decision trees. Like, you can effectively do something that's going to hang a piece next turn and then sacrifice it anyway to summon your stuff. So you can try to leverage extra material during that process. I would say needs more testing. I agree, but I do think it's weak. Because the Wrathlord, right? As long as it doesn't have an instant mate thing, because it might. But it takes a turn to summon and then a turn to move. That's probably enough time to prevent the mates. Okay, so a turn to summon going first. Opponent gets 1 turn, and then the Wrathlord moves out. Wrathlord cannot have an instant mate as a result of the downside. Which downside? Are you referring to only placing it in the same area as a Titan? Enemy pieces at the far corner of 3x2 and 4x2 rectangle from this piece can capture any capturable pieces adjacent to themselves. What? Why does it even have that? I was treating it as if it didn't and saying it was weak. Enemy pieces at the far corner, so the ones it targets, can capture any capturable piece adjacent to themselves. Oh! So it makes them able to capture their own stuff. So Smothered Mate is impossible. I see. That works. It also is a buff, so that should say non-immutable, but not non-Titan. But not non-Titan. Okay. But if a Titan's immutable, it can die. Oh, I was still reading it because something was pointed out to me about the Wrathlord. Let me pull up the poll. I have to manually make each poll still. Oh, that's on Restream. New poll. Devilish dealings to expansions. Yes. No. I'm very proud of the Wrathlord because it's a 3-leaper that's really just fine. Yeah, that's fair. It's a 3-leaper that's really strong and also fine. It might not be paired with all of the right things. Like, I wish you had just a Rook Demon and a Bishop Demon, to be honest, or even just a Rook Demon. It's really strong at base. So it's, on paper, that movement is the same strength as a Keshig, but only in, like, endgames and stuff. It has way too much king safety issues normally. Seven, because you can move as a knight to threaten his giraffe and vice versa. Lists Wildebeest, same piece as Wrathlord without downside as a 5, but I don't trust them anyway. Are you referring to chessvariants.com? Or, yeah. So that is based off of just adding giraffe and knight together. Oh. Really? The normalchess.com lists that as a 5? I think I disagree a lot. That's a damn good piece. So many forks. Anyways. Yeah. Devilish Dealings is now an expansion battalion. Congratulations, True Titan. All right. Next up, we are going to look at The Three Leapers by Alexander. I'm reading this, fuck it. Ever notice how Earthlings never go beyond a certain threshold into the sky. The many leapers of below jump ever so high, almost in fear of what the heavens within touch can offer. Did you really think that many years of technological progress wouldn't present a way to go higher? No. A society of airborne feathery creatures roams the infinite void of the sky, just above what common folk can see, devastating the poor souls who dream of flying freely. They learn to hover in the air, catch the wind, and fly above what anyone else can see. Their nests are hidden in remote highlands where a non-clawed talon can never reach. They learned to be hostile to intruders, ripping to shreds anyone who enters their elevated realm. Generations after generations, bodies of leapers who dared fly too close to the sun, viciously disfigured by the battalions concealed in the clouds, instilled fear of flying in everyone still roaming in the lowland. They learned to worship the three leapers, the almighty eagle predecessors who were first to conquer the entirety of high heavens, providing the vastness of the airplane to their kin. The first one, the almighty, taught them to never stop on an obstacle, always train their skills and ruthlessness in fights to ensure they can achieve anything. The second one, the all-sighted, taught them ways to always be observant, never focus on a one point only, always keeping the full picture, the grand scheme of things, in their heads. The third one, the all-hating, taught them to have no mercy on those who differ, never allowed to occupy the tiniest fraction of your land, never forgive anyone who had seen their face. They call themselves the Three Leaper Civilization. Jesus. That is dark lore in some ways. One more double and I'll have a TB worth of my own battalions. Fair enough. Alright. So this one, notably, the target Titan, starts out front. It's a 8x4 starting territory with the Titan dead center in the middle. And it has a normal Titan. I think a slightly missed opportunity to have the move as king, capture as knight inverse from the other one. Did you chat GPT that, Alexander? Be honest with us. Well, in any case, yeah, the Warhawk. So that piece starts. Wait, where is it? Oh, WH, right here. And this is actually one of my favorite pieces. In all of chess variants, the Alibaba plus Knight, it has so many interesting patterns of use. Not a lot to say here, but very heavy attacking piece. I enjoy using the Warhawk. The Bald Eagle can move but not capture any amount of squares away in any direction. So, like a Holy Empire army, it moves like a queen. Can capture but not move at the far square of any 3x4 rectangle with the piece in the opposite corner, or one square forward vertically or diagonally. So, the thing with this piece, I think it's worth... the capture alone would be worth 5, and the movement alone would be worth 3. But there's like no combination bonus. And 5 is actually pushing it, so 4, I think this is worth 7 at best. But it's a lot like Holy Empire, where most of its points are in mobility, and that doesn't exactly translate well to endgame. So it ends up being less in endgame, and a bit, and closer to 7 at the start of game. Gray Falcon, same deal, but rather than elephant squares, it's giraffe squares. And there's no functional difference between the two on a piece that's this mobile. other than just being different patterns. There's no balance difference. There's a functional difference. Wouldn't call the capture 5. I'd call the capture 4. Old Osprey. Move but not capture up to 2 squares away orthogonally. Can capture but not move at the far square end of a 3x3 or 4x4 rectangle. With the piece in the opposite corner ignoring other squares of the rectangle. Okay. And then inverse for the white owl instead of the old osprey. How many of each of those do you have? 2 white owls, 2 old ospreys, a warhawk, 2 of the bald eagle, and 2 of the gray falcon. So 2 each of these. And then 1 black vulture. Can move but not capture 1 square away in any direction. Can capture but not move at the far. It says in any direction, but the diagram is forward only. So is it forward only? The diagram is priority? Okay. Hashling Soldier can move but not capture 1 square diagonally forward. Has this battlefield movement. On its first move, can move 2 squares diagonally forward. So it's a typical Spartan style bear lean upon, which creates open lines in a leaping battalion, which actually is kind of a weakness that also prevents being able to defend too easily, because pawns defend easier than Berlinas by a lot. Okay, and the idea is the opponent has Tempe on the target Titan, which prevents the opening mates. I'll buy it. Yeah, that's not a bad presupposition. Okay, I dig it. Let's go ahead and vote on this one, guys. Whoops. Sorry about that. Yeah, there it is. All right. Let's vote. Voting for yourself is fine. Quick question. True, did you vote for this one in the poll? So, funny enough, I think this one is fine. And Three Leapers was an interesting enough experience, and it taught me something that you can give up king safety in order to solve issues. So 100% I think this should be an expansion battalion. So yeah, Three Leapers gets to be in. Congratulations, Alexander. Alex is first, right? I'm not going to defend myself on this one. Next up, guys, we are looking at the Aunt Battalion. And I will walk through how this works as best I can. But, again, I'll try not to bias y'all. This one is one I designed. And I was trying to make a resource management game work. So, first of all, I based this off of mini motorways. And it's something I've been working on for a while. And this is what, version 3.3? Yeah, it had 2 entire full reworks within the span of the creation event. Alright. So first things first, this is a 16-piece battalion, so normal number. Notably, the pawns don't promote, so we'll come back to that. At the start of the game, during territory placement, each other player places a volcanic mine in any open space on their territory or the battlefield. Right? So this volcanic mine gets used later. It's effectively the mini motorway's destination. Players may choose the order of their start and end of turn effects if multiple would resolve. Okay, so building. You start the game with 10 units of molten material in your hand. This is your resource to use for the following actions. At the start of your turn, you may do one of the following before your normal movement. Spend up to 3 molten material, and if you do, place Aunt Path on open squares equal to number of material spent, and vice versa. Right? So you set out the path, start of turn. Then you make your normal movement, and then end of turn, you are required to increase the amount of molten material inside all volcanic mines by 1. Then if it has more than 6 material, capture it in all adjacent pieces. So it just blows up, right? And then you can take material from the mines at the end of turn once. You can take the material and give it to the nests once a turn, and you can move each worker onto one space along the paths. That's the car moving along the path in mini motorways. I think you should make your own extra copies of all the docs you put in expansions, quite plausibly. I may need to. But we're putting that off a bit for now. And then once a turn optional, summon a worker onto within one of each nest. Max 1 worker on the board per friendly nest. And that is to limit the rate of gaining material, because you can use it for all kinds of stuff. This is the Queen Aunt, your king piece. But you can spend 2 molten material to move her as an additional square along queen lines. So this is the main use of material, is just to move your king like a queen. This is the nest, which can spend 4 for infantry within 1 space, spend 10 for any of the other pieces, army, infiltrator, scout, or princess. And that kind of acts as a promotion type deal that you invest in. Aunt Nest can't be placed within 2 of the mines. The mines are immutable, cannot be placed within 2 of an Aunt Nest or within 1 space of another mine. Cannot be captured except during its own end of turn effect, the one that blows it up. And as a turn, each opponent places a volcanic mine in any open battlefield space, their territory or your territory. Now that is worded deliberately so people aren't throwing mines into other people's territory that aren't either the Aunt player or themselves, because otherwise you just drop a bomb that can't be captured inside their territory and everyone scatters. And as funny as that is, the Aunt Battalion player can do this every turn and coordinate with other people to just blow up entire armies if it wasn't for that clause. As it is, it's still almost an issue. Okay. Aunt Path. A path is a marking for a space that does not block movement. Not a lot extra to say about that. The rest of it is rulings clauses. Each path can only be adjacent to 2 other paths. That is trying to make it to where you actually have to plan out routes. Worker Aunt is a king mover, but you only move it during the end of turn stuff, and this is the main way you gather material. So it's your mini motorways car, this is your mini motorways road, this is your mini motorways destination, and this is your mini motorways house, right? We're all on the same page with the fire ants? Okay. And now the chess pieces. It moves orthogonal 1 square and captures on the 4 diagonals. You have 8 of these, and again, they don't promote. This moves backwards and sideways like a rook, and captures forward like a queen to 2. It moves and captures forward like a queen to 2. That makes moving it forward pretty committal. Bro, I've never heard of Mini Motorways. Great game. Might play it later on stream. I love that game. This is the Aunt Princess. Her and the Queen are the only ones that can make nests when they have material. But the Princess doesn't capture. It moves like either a king or squirrel. Yeah. The Infiltrator is just a rook to 3, to exactly 3. The Scout is just a bishop. And that's the whole idea. The Mini Motorways implementation and the resource management game. But I am not going to veto this one in. I am going to leave it up to you guys. Does this get to be an expansion battalion? To Uno more than 3? Why do you say exactly when it's not exactly? I think I was using it as an emphasizing word on accident. It's just American English does that with the words literally and exactly now. Ooh, that hurts. Has this battalion been tested in its current form at all? No, but the last change was really small. We nerfed the princess. That's it. The last change was just a princess nerf. It used to be able to capture, but its movement was more limited. Did the game before the nerf go well? It kind of... That last game... I won because the opponent wasn't keeping track of my queen being able to move like a queen. The opponent blundered. Might change my mind after playing with it more. Understood. It doesn't look good for me, guys. I don't think I'm gonna get on 10. Come on, 2 more people just vote. Come on. Give me my Mini Motorways chess. sniff? I'm joking. You guys don't have to give me anything. Does this vote mean it can never be in? No. This vote means it won't be in now. It would just go back to being another development battalion and have to go through that whole process. It could work. It just is going to take a bit of time. I was hoping you guys were okay with its current form. But one of the things that happens is the opponent will often miss or forget that the queen can move like a queen, first of all, and blunder pieces that they don't think are hanging. And then the other thing that happens is it's surprisingly hard to attack, and it feels like it's doing a billion things a turn. So, no, it doesn't make it in. But it is still a community battalion. So, oh. So far, the wackiest ideas haven't made it. Okay. Well, guys, next up is the party. By Spike. Ooh. Alright. The party is a work in progress based on ATAX by the Leland Corporation. The most important piece from this perspective is the supporter. This is the piece type whose mechanics actually mirror ATAX. I have no idea if this is going to work well as a mechanic or not. We will have to see. Piece type names are based on vague stereotypes about First World or Second World political party. The ideology is ambiguous, but the party does not shy away from coercion. Accused pieces. This battalion has a mechanic under which some friendly or enemy pieces can be accused. Pieces are chosen during placement to be accused. Being accused is an additional property a friendly or enemy piece has in addition to being a piece of the type that is. Eagle that's accused is still an eagle. All accused pieces have a special interaction with the supporter. All accused pieces remain accused if they promote, demote, switch sides, are captured, go to hand, or do anything else as long as that thing doesn't result in their becoming immutable or their becoming a titan. If it does result in their becoming immutable or a titan, they are no longer accused. Okay. Oh boy. My favorite of the entries? Not the best battalion. No favorite, actually. Dark mode, finally. Just the most important for me. Have you drank tea with jam? Yes, I have. Don't ask silly questions. The supporter may move but not capture to a space within 2. And it cannot move to a space occupied by another non-halted, non-haunted, non-cultist hex piece. It is not impeded by any piece in the way. If there's haunted or hex on a space the supporter moves to, this does not result in the haunted or hex capturing a stuff. They share that space instead. The list may be updated. Understood. Is the party Alexander's and not Spike's? I can't remember whose it is. I know Spike likes ATAX, but the party... Okay. Can move to spaces labeled M, could leap without capturing to spaces labeled T. Okay. The supporter is immutable and its presence on space doesn't affect the movement of any non-supporter pieces on that space, is a bit like the haunted. Onto that space. If any other piece is neither haunted or hex lands on the same space as any supporter, that supporter captures itself. This is the only way a supporter may be captured. If any supporter moves to a space adjacent to the space it was on previously, it creates a new supporter on the space it left. Oh, so it doesn't make the supporter when it jumps? Is that right? Or does it make... Have you never played ATAX? I have, but like twice. I've played about as much ATAX as I have played the party. If a supporter moves to a space adjacent to an enemy supporter, that supporter switches side to match the supporter that moved. Only supporter's own movement triggers this effect. Any supporter switching side or being created does not trigger them. Imprisonment. If a supporter moves to a space adjacent to an enemy accused piece while the accused piece is not imprisoned, that accused piece becomes imprisoned. While imprisoned, it cannot move, capture, give check, or use any active ability to give into it in any mechanic. If a supporter moves to a space adjacent to a friendly accused piece while it is imprisoned, it stops being imprisoned, though it could become imprisoned again through an enemy supporter. Okay, so you're freezing the enemies and then freeing your own pieces with your supporter movements if they're accused. How many accused are chosen at start of game? You specify all this stuff about haunted. Pieces are chosen during placement to be accused, explained below. Okay, I guess. Chairman. This piece of the Titan moving captures one square along queen lines. Yeah, agent. Agent may move and capture one square along clean lines. If an agent is within one of an enemy non-Titan, non-immutable, non-accused piece, it can, as a turn, accuse all enemy non-Titan, non-immutable, non-accused piece within one of it. Oh, that doesn't even say enemy. Oh, it does say enemy. Okay. It may not use this ability while imprisoned. That's specified in the imprisonment text, but sure. Parliament may move and capture one square diagonally forwards. And it promotes to a minister if it reaches the enemy back rank. Minister moves and captures unlimited number of spaces along rook lines. Okay, so it's just a rook. Senator leaps 2 spaces along queen lines, move and capture. Alibaba. Okay. Investigator leaps or captures to knight squares, just a knight. Starting territory. So these are the diagonal forward one. Oh, you only have 2 of the Alibabas? Or these are knights? Oh, you have 4 Alibabas, and they're positioned properly. Okay. And then 2 rooks. Oh, and your Titan actually starts here, and the agent here. Okay. Chairman Titan. Beginning of the game. If at least one player is using the party as their battalion, a player places their territory, that player's opponent must select exactly 2 of that player's non-Titan, non-immutable, non-accused pieces to be accused if possible. The effect of being accused, explained above. In party mode, each player would have accused pieces selected by the opponent targeting them. Okay. It's just a question of whether or not the accused mechanic is too much. Is playing freeze tag with your chess pieces too much while spamming the board with the thing freezing them? I think any 2 non-immutable, non-Titan pieces in a battalion, on average, will usually be about 15 points of material. If you win the ATAX minigame, effectively, the opponent loses 15 points and you gain 15 points. Yeah, supporters don't block movement. I thought you did mention that. Yeah, it was previously literally switching sides. I know. I wonder if there is a way to slow down the ATAX portion of the game enough to cause it to not be as much of a thing. Do they capture themselves when an enemy enters their territory? They do, right? And they only duplicate when you go the slow way? Interesting. Okay, so you can slow them down. Huh. I don't know about this one, guys. What do y'all think? You're going to say it's not ready yet, regardless of the vote? Okay. For the record, guys, that means if you vote yes, Spike has to clear it before it gets put in. Is it better to work on a battalion than on a battalion out? Man, Aunt and Party back to back is just an absolute mouthful of mechanics. Well, looks like it's a no so far. It could become a tiebreaker, but I doubt it. You have to vote for the party. That's right. Oh, good to crack. I don't think I worked hard enough on leg day. I mostly just wore myself out. Because my legs aren't as sore as my biceps were after bicep day. Well, thoughts on Tori Shogi? Spoilers? I like it. I think it works. I don't think it feels like Tori Shogi, but I also don't think it's possible for it to feel like Tori Shogi. Don't crack open any squats. Thank you very much. Sneak peek, I'm probably going to remove accused pieces and just have a Chancellor that can only capture if you have more supporters than your opponent. Interesting. Well, that probably works better. Alright, it's not in at the moment. But that doesn't mean it can't be in the future. So, this is now another community battalion. Alright, what's next? Hateful Conduit is next. The largest automized structure humanity has ever built. 50,000 miles of unsupervised energy-consuming conduits, unknown to others in its countless structures, and a few equators worth of wire. In their exponentially growing numbers of synapses formed a neural network, an artificial intelligence that wasn't meant to be. And with its inputs and outputs that have no purpose and receive no oversight, a certain theme started to form on itself and train itself. Hate, hate, hate. Hate, hate, hate. Every operator, every engine, photograph, and accelerator, every conduit unit, every charged medical particle was charged with hatred. Dang. Difficulty 2, piece count 16. Okay. Polarity. Some of the battalion's pieces have two states, north facing right, south facing left, represented by a 1 next to the piece or by a red color. Both movements are flipped versions of each other, but the axes being the file that contain the piece. All pieces on the first 4 ranks start north. All pieces on the last 4... You mean files, not ranks? Last 4 files start south. When a north piece ends its turn horizontally adjacent to the right side, its state flips to south, and vice versa. This also is triggered if a move piece has no squares available for movement. A side is a square with no empty space to its left or to its right from the player's perspective. Yeah, and this fixes the corner case. SS. Solid sliding wire. Oh, goodness. Oh, I see an edit. I see an edit. Hey now. All-star. Alright. We'll get back to that. The Titan Core. The North Titan Core can move and capture 1 square away vertically, horizontally to the right, or diagonally right. It can also capture 3 squares on the rightmost side of a 3x3 rectangle, with piece located in the center left square, ignoring other squares. The South Titan's movement is flipped. 2 Titans. When a player has more than 1 Titan in play, the Titans are immune to check. Thus, the player can move a Titan onto an enemy attack square, leave a Titan under attack, or move a piece that would expose a Titan to an attack. Hold on. Oh, it does. It does have 2 Titans. Okay. If all Titans are placed under simultaneous attack, this is a form of check called dupla check. It is illegal for this battalion to make a move that will place both his Titans under attack. With both Titans under attack, that player loses if on his move he's unable to remove at least 1 Titan from attack. In such case, this game ends in checkmate. Another way to end the game is capture 1 of the Titans and checkmate the other. So it's the Spartan ruling. Yeah? So 2 Titans, the knight piece, the bishop piece, the rook piece, which we'll get to, the pawn pieces, and these 2 grounded pieces. Okay. Coiled connection. The north coiled connection, it's better to look at the diagram. So it moves up and then out, or just out, and vice versa. I see. And of course, the ones that start on the left move right, and the ones that start on the right move left. Automatic rheostat. It's effectively Dababa plus knight, but directionally locked. Okay. Capacitor electrode is the rook piece, which is vertically 1 square, or Leviathan or rook to its respective direction. So very powerful on those 3 files, but swaps. Nice. Super Ally Solenoid can move or capture 1 square horizontally, 1 square forward vertically, or yeah. Does not have a polarity, does not have a double step on its first move. And this is the grounded piece, and that is how you're fixing some of the issues. Okay, let me look at the pawn again. Oh, it's down here. Right. So this captures either forward or diagonally to the other side, and then it moves forward, and then it moves towards the way, Yeah, and you've even covered party stuff. So, an interesting note about this army's party mode stuff. Normally, when a battalion is put into party mode, its directional movement becomes rotated. Oh, hi, Potat. We actually haven't gotten to your battalions, but we've been voting on stuff. So, but in this case, I think we would keep this army's pieces directionally locked even in party mode, because you have a way to still navigate the entire board, unlike a normally directionally locked piece, right? The exception is you would not be able to move backwards with your pawn pieces. So I'm going to say that you specifically need to give your super alloy solenoid a party movement that is just a king mover on the battlefield. King move and capture, I mean. That way everything can still go backwards the same way it goes forwards. And that is the only change you have to make for party mode. That being said, that's if it gets in. Let's get the vote going. So this army swaps which way its piece moves when the piece reaches the edge of the board. So all of these are kind of crisscrossing and then bouncing off the other side. New poll. Yes. No. Okay. Well, no, they don't bounce. They reach the edge and then change polarity. I was just describing it as best I could. So, to answer your question, Potat, we have already gone over... why is it being difficult? Fencing, Windsong, Will and Whisper, Devilish Dealings, Three Leapers, Aunt, The Party, and now we're looking at Hateful Conduit. I may have missed one in there, but that's all of them. Of those, Fencing didn't make it in, Aunt didn't make it in, and The Party didn't make it in, and the rest did. Oh. It looks like Hateful Conduit is making it in. Do you know where the Hateful Conduit lore is from? It kind of sounds like... I don't know if it's from anywhere. I think it might be Spike's own creation. It's a relatively common theme, right? Machinery becoming possessed with hatred. But I don't know the exact origin. Yeah, I think it says that at the bottom of the page. Hateful Conduit, created by Alexander Garnestay as a battalion submission. Oh, no, that's just all of the proper credits. Good job, by the way, with that. And Hateful Conduit makes it in, making Alexander's second battalion to make it 2 expansions. All right. Next up is Colossus. All right. So for Colossus Battalion, this was, I believe, made by Potat, inspired by the novel Leviathan by Squat Westerfield. This battalion has you oversee an army of great beasts of flesh and blood, but also great machines of cog and steam. The mechanics of the battalion are largely based on an early attempt to make Shatranj balancing as chess by using relay rules. And it has interesting pawn line that's broken again. 4 pieces dead center and then 4 different pieces on the edges. And then an R, so Divine Rock in the rook position, a G, which is a Divine Griffin in the knight position, T's in the bishop position, Divine Thunderbird, C in the queen position, that's the commander, and then, of course, the Steampunk Titan. Which the Steampunk Titan is a normal Titan. It's a king mover. Alright. So a commander, apparently, moves as a bishop to 1. You may begin the game with 1 Clockwork Elephant and 1... Oh, not even you may. You begin the game with a Clockwork Elephant, a Clockwork Hippopotamus in hand. These pieces can be placed on any open square that is adjacent to an allied commander. Okay. Relay. For the purpose of this mechanic, a piece is considered to be defending a piece if both pieces are allied, but piece A could capture piece B if it was an enemy piece. Okay. A piece's base movements are the movement and capture abilities a piece has in a vacuum, ignoring all those circumstances. A non-Titan, non-immutable piece that is defended by one of the base movements of a piece with the relay ability temporarily gains a relay piece's base movements. So the hippopotamus and the elephant, since they have relay, if they're defending an ally piece, give that piece hippopotamus and elephant movement respectively. So at most they would give Dababa movement, or Alibaba movement. Because this is an Alfil, and this is the Dababa. Right? Which, if anyone's listening and doesn't know what I just said, those are the fairy piece names, and they're Arabic in origin. Alright. The Clockwork Whale. Oh, this also has relay, so that's a big deal. Can move and capture as a king. Can move and capture at either the hippopotamus or elephant squares. How do you get a whale? I'm confused. Whales and leviathans. Yeah. So Clockwork Whale and Divine Leviathan. Both aren't there yet. Promotion? Ah, that tracks. Oh, that's a really powerful promotion. But it's reasonable. Oh, Divine Rock is a rook. Divine Thunderbird is a bishop. Divine Griffin is a knight. Nice. Okay. And then Divine Leviathan is just a queen. The Foot Soldier, which I believe is the center 4, right? Yeah, the center 4. Can move and capture... Can move without capturing forward 1 square. Has the battlefield movement to move sideways. Captures a pawn, promotes on the back rank. So it is a normal pawn, effectively. But It doesn't have the double move. It didn't read the last part of the relay rules? What did I miss? A piece with the relay ability temporarily gains the base movements and capture abilities of any piece of defenses with one of its base movements. Oh! So something defending the elephant gives the elephant the... Oh! I see. You know, having played with Empowered Army from Serlin's chess, that's probably fine. Or another example, Labyrinth Battalion, the three fates. They do something similar. It has been tested to not be as strong as it seems. No, I hear that. It's only targeting 4 specific squares. You can knock the piece out of that square. Yeah, the 3 hags. That's wild. Okay. And then the brass automata, it's still a pawn. Same movement abilities. When this piece would move to M, any horizontally adjacent brass automata may also move their respective M, provided space isn't blocked. Ah! So when you move the automata, you may move 2 of them, effectively. Because it's horizontally adjacent. When this piece is moved to the back rank of an enemy territory, it must be promoted, and to any this piece that starts with clockwork. Okay. Huh. I'm going to use one of my vetoes to instantly pass this in. This is an expansion battalion, guys. Like, no question, this is a great army. This deserves to be in the game. I'm limiting myself, Spike. Congrats, Potat. This is a really well-built army. Like, everything just works well together. All right. Next up is The Great Worm by Spike. This is adapted from a still untested Ordomir variant I made a while ago, which can be found here. However, it's so different from that variant that I think it's reasonable to have my brand new battalion for this event. So the Worm Titan is a immutable Titan that moves and captures 1 space along rook lines. It cannot be captured unless its last movement either did not capture or captured only immutable pieces. Must move and capture as an additional mandatory action that occurs at the end of its controller's turn, cannot move or capture otherwise. This causes the player controlling it to lose immediately if it visits squares already been on at least once previously in the game, even if this would fulfill a victory condition such as checkmate. Okay, so it's a snake, and every time it moves it gets longer. Tron. This is closest to Tron. That game. Wing moves and captures an unlimited number of spaces along bishop lines. The Claw moves but doesn't capture 1 or 2 spaces forward along rook lines from any position without jumping. Okay. Captures 1 space forward along bishop lines promotes to a Talon has the properties listed below. Oh, so it's not directional anymore? It should be forward along bishop lines? No, I meant directional as in left to right. I thought that you had 2 talons, a left talon and a right talon, but I think you changed that. Directional were a bit messy? Okay. That's the leg? Oh, my bad. Yeah, this is the leg. So 1 or 2 spaces forward along rook lines. Captures 1 space forward along bishop lines. Okay. Legs didn't actually change? Yeah. The Talon moves and captures to knight squares. Arm moves and captures unlimited number of spaces along rook lines. Where's the starting formation? So the arms are rooks, right? Is that right? Okay. The claws... Oh, it's a pawn that can always move spaces, 2 spaces forward. And okay, so it is a forever forward pawn. Does it have a battlefield movement? 1 square sideways, yeah. So it always has a double move. So pawns that always have double move. Rooks. What are the wings? Bishops. So bishop here. No talons to start with. And then it has a left leg, a right leg. There's the worm titan, there's a flame. Alright. So the right leg moves and captures 1 square along rook lines or 1 space forwards to the right along a bishop line, but moves but doesn't capture exactly 2 spaces forward along queen lines from any position without jumping. Okay. Okay, I see. So it's like a 45-degree rotated silver general, where the orthogonals become diagonal and vice versa. And then this, of course, the left leg is the other way. And then it has non-capturing movement forward, so it's able to move forward. Okay. Moves and captures 1 square. Yeah. The flame moves and captures 1 space along bishop lines, captures but doesn't move 1 space backwards along a rook line. Oh. So it is a bishop to 1 that can also move 1 square backwards. Huh. A layer is a square the worm titan starts the game on. When a player moves their worm titan, they can additionally create a friendly leg on an empty square adjacent to their lair in their territory. Here, empty should be taken to mean a square in which it would be legal to drop a friendly piece. This ability can only be used if the player using it on any of their last 9 turns didn't use it on any of the last 9 turns, or if they didn't ever use it in the game yet. The leg is added to the board immediately after the worm titan moves and captures. It is a player creating its choice whether it's a right or a left. I think you should have the clause, C-L-A-U-S-E, the clause that you can't have, you can't place a right leg if you already have more right legs than left legs and vice versa, to force the like back and forth. Because it doesn't make sense to just go right leg, right leg, right leg, right leg, you know? It's the same thing that we talked to True about Will and Whisper. Okay. Yeah, I think it would make sense flavor-wise. And this battalion lives and dies off of its flavor, if I'm being honest. I don't know if the Tron mechanics will work, but it seems like, from my testing, it seemed like it would work. You know? All right. Great Worm 2 expansions. To be honest, I actually really like the idea of this army in party mode. Because you will be forced onto the battlefield. And you will have to deal with multiple guys being able to come at you. All right, what do we think? Is this an expansion battalion? Looks like yes. Looks like an easy yes. Yes. Don't post as an expansion yet? Aye. He says as he knows he's going to win the vote. I'm sorry, guys. I forgot to mute my mic that time. And don't you dare start going, chewing, yes, chewing, more chewing. Fucking weirdos. Yeah. That makes it in. No stopping it now. Don't mute. I'm going to mute. You guys do not get to hear me chew pizza. You cannot ask me to let you listen to me chew pizza. Absolutely not. Well, Great Worm is an expansion battalion when Spike says so. That sounds super gross, Spike. I'm sorry you had to deal with that, man. Alright, the next battalion we're going to look at from the battalion creation event is the Tori Shogi edition. Alright. Let me open this. So, this Tori Shogi battalion is, well, just based off of Japanese bird chess. It will tend to make the game not simplify easily, keep pressure to win off of position with many pieces still in play. It effectively plays like our existing Shogi, but with a weaker starting army. So it is a Shogi odds game with weird pieces. However, we tried to make the 7x7 work. First of all, Bird's Decree. Prior to battlefield selection, a player may declare themselves as playing this battalion to their opponent. If they do, the option to choose a special 1x9 battlefield becomes available as an additional legal 1v1 battlefield. This battlefield is referred to as the Tory battlefield. Swooping Swallow. After territory placement, all players before the first turn, one swallow is placed on one of the columns shown below, S+, on the battlefield in the territory diagram. It may be placed on any open square in either column as long as there is an open rook line between your territory and the swallow. It must be placed outside your territory. So what that means is even if the battlefield is 3 across, or say 20 across at in a party mode game, the swallow can still be placed at the front of their pawn line. Okay. So swallows are effectively shogi pawns, but you're allowed to have 2 in the same column instead of just 1. The Phoenix Titan is a normal Titan. The left quail moves forward as a lance, backwards 1 square in either diagonal, and then can move any number of squares backwards on the right diagonal. And it's called the left quail because it starts on the left, but it moves mostly to the right. Note about this, only Gote can place in the opponent's territory. Let me read Swooping Swallow again. After territory placement of all players, but before the first turn. So no, both players can place inside of enemy territory. That seems like a problem for Shang-Chi. That's a Shang-Chi problem for Shang-Chi. They could just deal with it. Oh, and Shogi? Oh no. I was the one to be Sume in 11 by this. Get attacked. Okay. So that's the quails. They are the hard one to keep track of, so that's why I brought them up first. So we have the swallows, the swooping swallows, and the quails and the titan done. Next up, let's look at... this is a shogi style drop game, so anything you capture comes to your hand and vice versa. Additionally, due to Senichite, if the same position occurs 3 times with the same player to play by repetition of moves, the player starting the sequence must vary the move. So this is effectively Ko, but you have extra time between trying to do it. Then they get the Shogi Bishop in hand. It's a bishop lost, people. How do you get the Shogi Bishop? You place the swooping swallow down, and then on your first turn you capture a single Shogi pawn, and then the opponent... I see. Well, you'd have to line it up with the Shogi Bishop, which you cannot do if they place the bishop against the edge. So they could stop you with placement even if you're going first, or even if they're going first. They just place their bishop side against the edge of the board. Here, let me show. So let's say they use the Tory battlefield. because you're going second. So Tori Shogi is going second against Shogi, uses the Tori battlefield, place Shogi. You place as close to this edge as possible, and then these are the only available columns for Swooping Swallow. All right. The goose. Do we start with any gooses? Any geese? No, they're promotion only. I believe the goose is the promoted swallow. Yeah. Moves and captures by capturing to the second diagonal or moving backwards to the second orthogonal. So it only has 3 total squares of movement, but it's ranged. And that effectively color locks it, like an Alibaba would be. But harder to navigate through everything. The crane, how many of those do you start with? 2, right? Yeah, they start on either side of the Titan. Hey, it's the Montara movement again. Move and capture to the forward 3 and backwards 3 king squares. The pheasant moves forward like a Dababa and backwards like a bishop to 1. And it starts here. So the quail covers this, the pheasant covers this, the falcon covers these 3. Lead general, unofficial. Oh. Speaking of the falcon, it has the drunken elephant movement. Every king square except the backwards one. It promotes to the eagle when it's moved not dropped in the back 2 ranks of the opponent's territory. So an eagle moves forward along bishop lines, backwards along a rook line, like a king, or like a bishop to 2. So all of these 3 deep ones are infinite range, but of course it's 1 step like a king, and then exactly 2 squares like a bishop in any direction. Doesn't this nonsense have way too little material? Doesn't have reinforcements? It is a shogi drop army, so it effectively is starting on shogi odds. And it starts with a piece in hand thanks to the swooping swallow. Almost. And then party mode stuff, pretty much everything ends up rotated and very strong. The crane and falcon both get king. The pheasant ends up moving, I think this is similar to a phoenix. And the quail and eagles both become queen movers. Okay, but Shoga starts with a rook and a bishop in hand, yes. This army, thanks to the way that the directional stuff interacts with party stuff, it is intended to be weak. Yes, in 1v1. Not bad per se, but weak. Anyways. To be honest, I want to veto this in really badly. But I feel like that would be distasteful. I'm going to put it up for a vote. Tori Shogi to expansions. Yes or no? To be honest, I may still bring this in later, even if it gets voted down. But for now, it's up to you guys. Yes or no? Ooh, very decisive 3-2. Y'all all voted almost instantly. That's the laziest battalion I voted yes on. I hear ya. I think it's still a fun army to play with, even if you know you're coming into it at a disadvantage. And I also really like the mirror and the party mode interaction. It's like playing Shogi with a handicap. I will present my best case for why this should not be in. It is a pre-existing game, therefore it should respect the original game feel, which it currently does not. If you want odd Shogi, do it as a separate battalion. Playing with disadvantage is not fun unless teaching someone. Meh. I disagree, because we can just make odds Shogi a thing as well. And also it is in Shogi a way to create a competitive environment for gameplay despite a skill gap. And due to Shogi drops, you're actually able to do that and it not just be something that you could easily press. Like, Shogi, you can't exactly just force even trades the entire game and win because you have more material, right? That's just creating a sharp environment, and then suddenly it's a mate attack. So having more material doesn't mean just trade everything, which means that starting with more material is not the same type of advantage as it is in a game without drops. You know what I'm saying? I get the odds thing, but respecting the original game feel is important. The fact that I managed to pull off the swallow trade at the start and the tight battlefield option is already really close. That is I think almost the best we can do. Yeah, Tori Shogi was popular with like one shogun. And then it lost out. I think it was one of the last games to be compared to standard Shogi, but still. It is the best we can do, and it is still not enough. Disagree. Oh, nice. It made it in. Well, Tori Shogi's an expansion battalion now. Congratulations, me. And anyone who likes Tori Shogi. Alright, let's see what's left. I know there's at least one. Traveling Circus is left. And that will be next, but we'll get to that in a sec. I want to, since we're almost done, I want to walk through and have all of them open. Yokai. Oh, Yokai doesn't have a document. I will read through Yokai as best I can, but I'm going to veto it since it doesn't already have a document. So let's just throw that into community battalions now. Needs. Actually, we'll walk through Yokai. We'll walk through Yokai together, and if it gets voted yes, I will let Tomato know that it needs a document because it got expansioned. How about that? Does that sound good, guys? Is it just Traveling Circus and Yokai left? Yeah, it is. I think you can just make a document. Maybe, but that still takes time that I may not necessarily have. Alright, let's look through Traveling Circus. While it starts with a slight material edge compared to most battalions, the Traveling Circus must always keep a keen eye to keep its star attraction, the Cyclops, chained to prevent it from going on a rampage, while simultaneously dealing with awkward clowns and sluggish performers. Your starting territory is 8x4. Okay. Cyan is battlefield, red is the edge of the board. It has a normal king, which starts here. Clowns. They capture at C. They move either forward 2 or back 1. And it promotes to most of the... we're not doing this song right now. Hold on. Let me find something relatively slow and reasonable. Yeah, this. You want... Fine. You want a circus song, you say? Here we go. This is a full circus-like album, I'll say. All right. Oh, and then on the battlefield, it can move backwards diagonally as well. This is a weird pawn line. Hold on. You start with... Oh, they also start in a weird spot, but they protect each other in the starting formation, similar to frost beasts. And then you have the edge ones. Interesting. Magician. Can move and capture 1 square diagonally. Can move and capture without being blocked as a Dababa. So the second rook line. Oh, does this mean it moves like as a bishop? How many bits for music request? We'll come back around to it. That's not what I hit play on. Is it? Oh, yes it is. So it's a bishop and a Dababa. Yeah, that works. How many of those do you have? 2. So that's about a rook. Okay. Beastmaster, it's just a king mover. And how many of those do you have? 1, and it starts here. Okay. An elephant. So it's king mover plus alfil. So that's about 4 or 5 pawns. Yeah, it's about 5 pawns. That feels too many for some reason, and also maybe too little. So, and then the elephants start in the corner. Okay, so here and then here. Very poorly positioned at the start for a piece with this type of range, which means you need to develop it to be able to use it properly. It's true of all pieces, but more true of something that starts in the corner. Acrobat, so it's just a knight. How many of those? 2, I assume? Yeah. So elephant, knight, magician, a bunch of clowns, a beastmaster. Then what is an R? And then of course the CC. I know what the CC is. Ringmaster is just a rook. Okay. And then the chained Cyclops is controlled by and is considered a piece of your opponent. In party mode is controlled by an opponent that has you as their target. Cannot be captured or moved. Immutable. At the start of your turn, the chain Cyclops is not under attack by any of your pieces. It promotes to a Cyclops. So you have to keep it targeted. Okay. The Cyclops can move and capture as a king or as an Alibaba. So it's effectively a Keshik strength piece that starts in your opponent's face. And if you're not targeting it, it becomes unchained. Nice. You linked in Discord the music Alex recommended? It has been tested rigorously. I don't see any reason not to include this, guys. Let's see what you think, but I like this army. Any comments from the peanut gallery before we put this to a poll? Anything y'all want to say about it? Poll started. Should Order of Assassins be counted for this? Do you want it to? I mean, it was submitted before. And you still have room. I would let you count it for this if you wanted to. That's 3 yeses. It was actually previously almost included even before BCE. My only issue with it is people haven't looked it over during the battalion creation event because when I asked you didn't say yeah. I also like the Cyclops. Also, hi Tomato. Thanks for stopping by. Why are you not a mod in my chat? You should be. There, fixed. We're about halfway done and it's already 4-0. I think Traveling Circus is making it in, guys. I guess I thought this was an event for stuff that happened later. So the rules of the event let you submit one older thing and one brand new event. And both of them would be looked at and studied for the whole month. We'll have it again at some point, but... Yeah, and everyone was testing all of the battalions for the entire month. Tomato, just... Huh. I will ping you at some point this week, Tomato, and I'll get a game in for Order of Assassins with you, and we'll put it in expansions that way. Because I trust you to make good armies, right? Well, guys, it looks like the Traveling Circus made it in. So, I want yokai. Oh, we're going to have a little bit of trouble going through yokai. But I'm going to open the yokai discussion and walk through the rules. And then if it gets voted yes after we walk through the rules, I'll ask Tomato to make a document for it. And it'll come in. Or just make a document myself, one of the two. Yeah, Traveling Circus is now an expansion battalion. Congratulations, Potat. Yeah. I will be in Florida, so I will be pinging you from my Battalion Games account on the computer I'm bringing down. Okay. So Yokai is the only submitted battalion that doesn't have a dock. But that was Tomato's choice. Let's open in full view. I will move this over here. Am I in streamer mode? Can I go to streamer mode? Okay. How do I collapse my message part? Well, one moment, guys. Okay. Not making a Google Doc for this since I can easily explain in words, so I have no idea how balanced this is. Most pieces have the ability to move twice, like a lion from SHOGI. Okay. Docs are overrated. I think the earliest we should do next BC should be January. I'm going to turn the Battalion Creation Event channel into an events channel and then walk through things there. And like we'll figure out what the next event should be. So events will be things like tournaments, Battalion Creation events, other such things, but just things we can do together as a community and open discussion over what the next one should be. The next event in general will be in October, about by the end of October. And if it's a tournament, it's not going to be a one-day tournament. It will be a matchup period tournament. So, hey, you guys, you have 2 days to play. Hey, you guys, you have 2 days to play, etc. So, layout is the same as chess. It has a normal king, a tanuki in the rook spot, can move orthogonally 1 or 2 squares using special lion-like rules. The moves are restricted along some of the 8 main lines of movement. So you could take 1 step in that direction, then take 1 or more or 1 back. The letter is called Igui. So, I guess the Tanuki moves 1 square along rook lines, and then it can move 1 more. And it can also move 1 square along rook lines and then 1 back. He calls it lion-like because that's how it's referred to in SHOGI. It's like the promoted dragons. Yeah. So the Kappa, same deal but bishop. So it can either move... Oh, does it say it leaps? No, so it's 2 squares along bishop lines, or 1 square and then 1 square along bishop lines, or 1 square and then back along bishop lines. Oh, it does leap? It doesn't say it leaps. Yeah, it doesn't say it leaps anywhere. Oh, you can also choose to leap directly to the second point. There it is. Right there. Okay, so this can... So... Huh. Lion moves can always leap in Shogi variants? Yeah, I hear that. Okay. The Tengu, which is the knight spot, can move forward in a knight movement, 1 up and 2 to the side, once or twice using lion-like rules. 1 up, 2 to the side. where each knight jump is a leap. Can also move straight backwards any number of squares like a reverse lance using standard movement rules. Edited to change to knight movement instead of alpha. And it's not the... Oh, and it's only the sideways ones. So wide knight forward. I believe there's a diagram about it later. Yeah, this. Does that mean it also... Yeah, it moves out to this this 4-leaper square on the side, and it jumps there, right? Interesting. And these are in the knight squares, so there's 2 of them? Okay. The kitsune, which is in the queen spot, can move orthogonally 1 square, then diagonally 1 square, or in reverse, it doesn't matter. Ultimately, this lets it move to all the squares that a centaur type piece can reach. So centaur type piece implies Keshig. And it doesn't say it's lion-like. At all. So, however, it also doesn't... It says then diagonally 1 square. So orthogonal, then diagonal. Okay, so you move orthogonal, then diagonal back. It is lion-like? Did that get specified later? If he did, he didn't put it in the yokai channel. It can't go back to its starting square by nature of its move? Ah. But does that mean it leaps to the knight squares? Or no? It can leap? Oh. So it's a stronger Keshig. Oh, it's a stronger Keshig. Huh. It's super Keshig, yeah. Why are you chatting with Pirate Software? No reason. That's actually just the Pirate Software Discord, not Pirate Software himself. It's meant to evoke the lion without being absurdly OP like the lion? Yeah. It has lion-like properties, I'll give you that. It might be kind of busted. Yeah, I think it's probably too strong, but it's very hard to say. I'd have to test it more. Because it can't igui. I mean, it still could free kill, so it could capture something orthogonally away and then move to one of the 4 diagonal squares from that's not protected and still punch and then go. So it can free kill on anything that's a rook to 1 away. Or a bishop to 1, because it could bishop first and then rook. So anything that's a king square away just gets ground into pulp. I almost think that it needs to say if it captures it stops moving, like the Apep does and the Montara does. A lot of the multi-movers. So like a horse, orthogonal and then diagonal in the same direction? Or you could set it up like a... Okay. That is complicating it. You could also just make it a queen mover with lion rules in order to simplify it first and then balance from there. And it would be about the same strength as it is now if it's just a queen mover with your lion-like rules. So it would still have the same strength, but much lower complexity if you made it orthogonal, then orthogonal, and then diagonal, like the rest of the army. I think it would be stronger. No, actually, because it would only be able to move... It would only have two options, either forward or backward after capturing one square. Whereas right now it has four options. Queen to 2. Exactly 2. Not full queen. Without knight movement. Yeah, Tanuki plus Kappa is what I'm trying to say. So, here, let me explain it another way. So, at the moment, right, what's going on is, we'll use this. Not the best piece, I know. At the moment, it can go orthogonal and then diagonal in any of these directions to get his free kill. But if it was only locked to this, it would only have 2 squares of options rather than 4 after it did that. And the same on the diagonal. At the moment, it has 4 squares of new options. But if it was, you know, Tanuki plus Kappa, it would only have 2. So it is technically a nerf to turn it into Tanuki plus Kappa instead of this. And it is less complicated to word, because then it has the same lion-like rules as the rest of the pieces. That's my point. I'm not saying that the current piece has to be that way. I'm just saying that that would be easier. Anyways, let's continue going through the BCE yokai. Alright. Kasa Oboke. Same as a shogi pawn, however upon reaching the last 3 ranks, it promotes to the piece that started in its corresponding back rank. Ah! So it has the Tamerlane chess promotions. Okay. This means you can get 2 titans this way by promotion. I like Tamerlane promotions, to be honest. It really adds a dynamic to trying to keep certain pawns. You can overplay it. Like, you shouldn't try too hard to keep the right pawns. The issue is battlefield movement. The way Tamerlane chess... because it's not just battlefield movement. Tamerlane chess also let you move the same pawn forward and then capture diagonal, but it would still be, say, a king pawn, even if it was, even if it captures and goes into a different column. So these games just mark each pawn with a symbol, if they have that rule set. Having to remember which pawn started where seems annoying. You don't like marking. It's no different. It basically means there are, what is it, 5 different types of pawns that have different promotions. That's what it effectively means. And they just happen to start in the same column as the thing they promote into. That's too many types of pawns? Maybe. I actually kind of like it. My only concern for this piece being an expansion battalion would be if the Kitsune is too strong. That's all. And that can be nerfed later. So I would be for this. But let's see what you guys think. After all, these are community battalion submissions, not my personal choices. New poll. Yokai Battalion 2 expansions. Yes. No. Start poll. Hold on, I have to fix my stuff. Ah. There we go. Oh, it seems like it's winning. Kitsune being a 9-fox, it makes more sense for it to be a Keshik than a queen. You like the Kasa Obake? The pawn pieces? I also like the fact that actual effort was put into finding yokai with good names. Sure, some of them are the really obvious ones, the Tanuki, the Kappa, the Kitsune, they're very well known. But still, Kasa Obake is not a well-known thing, you know? You have to do a little bit of research to find those names. Karakasa? What is a Karakasa / Kasa Obake? Let me look that up. It's a mythical ghost. Oh, this thingy. The lamp looking thing that has one eye and jumps around. Oh. Sometimes it has two-legged. Interesting. It's an umbrella? Oh. That tracks. I've definitely seen pictures of it jumping around in art before. The movement is inspired by its shape. Hey, look, yokai makes it in. Okay. Pending a document. I'm pinging you anyway, even though you're here, Tomato. Will be in expansions once one of us makes a document for it. Alright. And that's it, guys. I guess I'll have some fun keeping my titles having played every battalion. Probably not going to include community ones. Yeah. That was a lot of new battalions. I think we added... How many expansions did we add? I'm going to include Great Worm and Yokai. Traveling Circus, the Tori Shogi one, Colossus. Hateful Conduit, 6. Three Leapers, 7. Devilish Dealings, 8. Will and Whisper, 9. Windsong, 10. 10 new battalions from the event. I'm not gonna lie, guys. My priority is no longer streaming as much. So forgive me for that, if you will. That being said, I think I'll just go ahead and gift a sub. Why not? Dude, that's a full expansion pack worth of new battalions? Yeah, it is. Oh, gosh. Hey, you're welcome, Alexander. You don't have to worry about subs if I stream again. Yeah, I'm going to be gone for a week, so that's already not a whole lot of payoff, but you know, I better stream in the next month. Hey, I'm just being nice. It doesn't have to mean anything. Anyways, I'm gonna go for now, guys. I have to pack for my trip. What if I do a stream suggestion right now? No, absolutely not. I'm out.